So I didn't really know anything about anime when the challenge was announced. So if you're like me, I'm going to give you a 10-second rundown on who Ryuk is. Ryuk is a Shinigami, which is a death god, who comes to the human world to drop a death note. A death note is a notebook that kills people by writing their name inside of it. A guy named Light finds the death note and uses it to cleanse evil from the world. Ryuk is addicted to apples, loves playing video games, and has a sense of humor. So now that the intro makes a little bit more sense, I'm gonna show you how I did it. So let's start with the eyeballs. I started with 2 ping pong balls and then realized I actually only needed 1, duh. Cut that one in half, but be careful to only cut the ping pong ball and not yourself. I quickly marked where I wanted the iris to be and then cut that out as well. I used the yellow NYX color correcting primer to coat the eyeballs. This gave them a light wash of yellow without going too overboard. Then I set them with the NYX green color correcting HD powder. To create the iris, I cut off a small strip of a piece of red tulle, folded it in a very teeny tiny square, and then cut that into a small circle. Make sure that it's a tad bit bigger than the hole that you cut into the ping pong ball. Then I glued it in place from the inside with a glue gun. To make these eyes a little bit more veiny, grab some thick red yarn and split it apart. Coat the eyeball with clear nail polish and press the unraveled yarn onto the surface. Repeat this sporadically around the eyeball, but make sure not to do too much because Ryuk's eyes weren't completely bloodshot. I added some hot glue to the base of the eyeball just to ensure it wouldn't scratch my actual eye while I was wearing them. To make sure the red iris stands out, I outlined them in black. I used the NYX Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade in black, and then I set it in place with the NYX Hot Black Primal Colors eyeshadow. Now the set of eyeballs are complete. I wanted the lips to be 3-dimensional and mimic Ryuk's lips as much as possible. I mixed gelatin, glycerin, water, and blue food coloring to make the special effects gelatin that you see here. I rolled out some non-drying clay and used a brush to make the shape that I wanted. Make sure to smooth it out so that there aren't any lumps and bumps inside of your mold. I then made it into a V shape and carefully poured my gelatin mixture into the mold. Here's what the set of lips look like. The bottom lip is the straight one and the top lip is the one with the V. I let them dry for about 5 minutes and then peeled them right out of the mold. Ryuk himself actually wears a mask, so to give the same illusion of a mask being pulled over my head, I needed to create the hooks that would attach to my body just like his. So to do this, I rolled out a small piece of clay that will eventually dry and shaped it into the hook shape with my hands. I made a plethora. Once the hooks were dry, I used the NYX Ultra Dare Matte Lipstick to coat the hardened clay and then set them with the NYX HD finishing powder. And now the hooks are complete. I shaped the teeth the exact same way I did with the hooks by using the same drying clay as before. Then I used the yellow shade from the NYX Color Correcting Concealer palette to coat the teeth. I started one by one and then realized that was going to take forever, so I just went ham on all of them at once. Ryuk's teeth weren't completely yellow, so I also made sure to leave some parts of them white. You know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Moving on to the sculpt. I started with a face cast of my actual face that I made out of plaster and sculpted the features with the clay that does not dry. I used a blow dryer as needed to help with the blending process. To add detail to the sculpt, I laid a plastic bag over the clay and used a sculpting tool to make wrinkles. If I went directly on the sculpt without the plastic bag there, it would create more of a gash or cut-like effect, and that is not what we want. You can see here how it looks like a wrinkled, scrunched up nose instead of cuts on the nose. Once the sculpt was complete, I went in with several light layers of liquid latex to build the prosthetic. I did between 10 and 12 layers and let them dry in between. Now, here is where I had issues. When I removed the liquid latex off of the sculpt, which I will show you in a second, I realized that they were far too small for my face. I didn't notice, but the plaster that I used for my face cast actually shrunk, so the entire face cast was not accurate to my face size. Unfortunately, I realized this the day before filming the application and was up all night creating this bad boy. This sculpt is way more accurate to my face size and thankfully only took me 3 hours to create, which the one prior actually took me 2 days. To make it more accurate, I used the non-drying clay to build more face onto the face cast and also build the Ryuk features on top of it. Now to remove the latex off of the mold, I used the NYX HD finishing powder all over the face and very slowly peeled off the latex. I used the finishing powder as well to help with the removing process. To make sure the prosthetic can stand on its own, I took some unraveled cotton balls and dipped them into the liquid latex. I added the soaked pieces into the areas on the prosthetic that would be protruding outwards to make them a little bit more sturdy. I did this on both of the eyes, nose, and the chin. This here is the neck piece I created by rolling out the non-drying clay into this shape. I layered on the liquid latex in the same way we did the face prosthetic and then used the NYX HD finishing powder to set the liquid latex, and I also used that to help peel it up off of the clay. Here is what it should look like. I'm taking my hair out of what I thought was a cute messy bun, but looking at it now just looked like a rat's nest. I'm using the Redken Shape Factor Sculpting Cream Paste to slick back my hair into a low ponytail. I don't want any of my hair falling down into any adhesives that I apply on my face, and doing this will also get it set for when I'm ready to put on the wig. I'm quickly applying some petroleum jelly to my brows so they don't get ripped off my face when I take off everything at the end of the day. I'm grabbing that neck prosthetic that I made and I'm measuring it out on my chest just to make sure that it fits. Then I'm applying a prosthetic adhesive to my skin as well as to the back of the prosthetic itself. Once the majority of it turns clear, it's time to apply. Then I'm layering the edges with more adhesive just to secure it in place and also blend the prosthetic with my skin. Feel free to cut off any pieces that are too long. While that dries, I'm going to apply the NYX black eyeshadow base to my eyelids to begin blacking them out. In my waterline, I'm using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Black Bean, and I'm also carrying that color over the rest of the black areas on the eyes to deepen them up. To set everything in place, I'm using the NYX Hot Black eyeshadow, and as you can see, it makes them the most pitch black shade, which is exactly what we want. For Ryuk's foundation, I mixed the Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation in Ivory with the White Pro Foundation Mixer and the NYX Poolside eyeshadow to create the perfect bluish gray skin tone. Apply that all over the place. Don't forget the inside and the back of the ears and all the way down onto the front and the back of the prosthetic piece. To add the hooks, I first poked a hole into the prosthetic piece, grabbed one of the many hooks that I made, and then shoved it carefully into the hole. Then do a happy dance because it worked. After that, repeat this with as many hooks as you want or that gives you the right look. Time to put on the face. I'm adding the same prosthetic adhesive all over my face, and then I realized I forgot to color in the tip of the nose, so I did that too. Once I looked like a panda bear, I continued to apply the adhesive to the rest of my face and also to the back of the prosthetic face piece. Then I grabbed the face prosthetic piece and I put it on my face, starting in the center and working outwards. I layered on more adhesive afterwards just to blend the seam. Repeat the entire eye combo that we did previously to the eye area on our new face. First use the black eyeshadow primer, then the Black Bean Jumbo Eye Pencil, and lastly the hot black eyeshadow. Apply the foundation concoction to the rest of your face, and if you look like a blue Santa, you're doing a good job. Apply the foundation to your Santa beard. I'm using the blue eyeshadow from the NYX Rocker Chic palette in California Dreaming to not only set the foundation, but also to make it more opaque looking. Next, I'm mapping out the mouth area with the hot black eyeshadow by placing the gelatin lips on the spot that they will be going later. I then filled in the entire mouth area with that black color combo that we did on the eyes. Then I'm adding some adhesive to the perimeter of the mouth, and I'm grabbing my favorite teeth out of this selection and I'm pressing them onto the adhesive. Then stick on your blue gelatin lips and cut off any excess pieces. Now it's time to contour and highlight. I first used the hot black eyeshadow to shade in all of the wrinkles on the face, but it ended up looking a little bit too harsh, so I ended up covering up those areas very lightly with the foundation so that the black still would peek through. Then I mixed that poolside eyeshadow with the hot black eyeshadow to create this lighter bluish gray color and deepened up all of the shadows on the face, including the eye socket, brow area, cheekbones, and the jawline. Finally, it's time to add the wig. I'm carefully placing the wig on my head all the way to the hairline, and then I'm pinning pieces of the wig in place to look more like Ryuk's hair. I'm creating a widow's peak with the hot black eyeshadow, and then I'm filling in any hairs peeking out from under the wig. I put some adhesive on the widow's peak and stuck on some hairs to that area that I cut off from the lower back part of the wig. I gave it a quick haircut and then sprayed everything in place using Redken's Forceful Super Strength Hairspray. Don't stop spraying until you feel fabulous. Once you pop in your eyeballs, all that's left to do is accessorize. For the hands, I just cut and filed some fake nails into a pointed shape and glued them on a pair of black gloves. Then I gave them a manicure and painted the top and bottom of them with some black nail polish. To make the shoulder pads, just sew on tons of feathers to some black felt and tie it to your body. His wings were actually a lot different than the ones that I'm wearing here, but surprisingly, I already owned these wings, so I just used what I had because it gave the right idea. Lastly, I accessorized myself with some sassy skull jewelry, put on a skull-faced belt, and grabbed my Audio Network notebook to use as my death note. I had so much fun making this video, so thank you so much for voting me into the top 20. It's because of your votes that I was even able to make this video for this round, and I am so thankful for you guys. I would be so honored to make it to the top 12, so if you think that I've earned it, you can vote right now, this very moment, at NYXFaceAwards.com. You can vote 3 times each day, per human, per email address, every single day, starting right now until Friday, June 24th. I would be over the moon if the Fox Squad made it to the next round, so make sure you're following me on social media for fun reminders throughout the week. Thank you so much to all of the sponsors for making this possible, and a special thank you to my friend Sophie for helping me understand what anime is all about. All voting details will be down below in the information box in case you missed any, and I really hope to see you guys in the next challenge. Thanks for watching!